Alrighty, so the topic we're going to look on right now, this is section 7.2 in your book, and this is area between a curve, or they call it a plane, but it's basically area between a curve. And the cool thing is this is directly connected to all of the stuff that we've been doing. So this is just a very tiny extension, much like yesterday's lesson. Very, very tiny extension, okay? So, first we need to review how we find area. Area in general. So how do we find the area in general? What do we do? Yeah, it's just base times height, right? That's pretty easy, right? So think of a rectangle, you do the base, multiply it times the height, right? Go ahead and bring it, just bring me something, Jesus, and I'll sign it for you, okay? So then, in calculus though, how do we find the area between a curve? Yeah, we just integrate it, right? Just go ahead and write where we're going, okay? So in calculus, what do? We say, well, the problem is we have like some funky curve, right? And we say, well, how did we do this? Well, we said, well, if you guys remember Edgar, you did a really good job of explaining it. Remember that one day? From your recap of the video, they said that you take, if this is like x1, right? x2, x3, and then you pick like a random one. You call this xi, right? And you say, well, you find the difference between here and here, right? And what did they call this little distance here? They call this my delta xi, right? Or the change in x. So we can think of this as like the base of the tiny rectangle, right? And then, what is this here? That's the height of it. And this is the function y equals f of x. So what is the height of this one here? Yeah, that's it, right? So then we know the area is what? Is base. Well, let's just find the area of this one piece, right? What would it be? It's xi times f of xi, right? And you say, well, that's one piece. How do we find all of the pieces? Well, we say, well, this is the area of one piece, right? That's one piece. If I want the whole curve, it's going to be, let me write the whole area. It's going to be, we use a sum, right? It's I that goes from 1 to n of what? F of xi times what? Delta xi. And then we just, we rewrote this as the integral, right? And this was basically the integral from a to b of f of x dx. Here. So you can think of this xi as just your dx. The dx is like the distance here, okay? And then f is your function, and it's the exact same thing. So we're basically going to do no different here, right? So what does this mean? This is the area under the curve. So this means this here. So this is f of x here. This is a and this is b. Right? So this means the area under the curve for here. Right? Okay, that's it. So this is all old stuff. And you might think, okay, well, how does this connect? Well, if you think about it, do you agree here that this is the same thing as this? Yeah? I'm just subtracting 0. Does that do anything? No, right? Why would I do that? Well, if you think about it, this is the area between two lines. It's between f of x and what line? Yeah, the x-axis. What is the x-axis called? What line is that? This is the line y equals what? 0. See? So you're really subtracting it. See, so you're basically saying like, well, the height is just this function minus this one, which is this here, right? Because it's 0, we don't care, right? But basically you're always subtracting it from 0. And it's the same thing if you have another function that's not y equals 0. Because this was y equals f of x, and this was y equals 0. So the area is just when you integrate from a to b of the top function minus the bottom one. Okay? This is what we're going to outline here. So if we have a more abstract example here, so now we'll do this guy, and we'll draw f again, because it looks like this. And now let's draw a funky g here on this side. Okay? Alright? Actually, no. Let's start that over again. Let's make them all positive in the beginning, so we don't freak out. Okay. So let's just say this is f of x, and then this is now g of x here. Okay? So, what we're doing is we're going to find, I'm going to give you some a and b here, and I want us to find the area between the two. And you're like, well, so basically what I'm after is this thing here, right? I'm after this area. So you're like, well, how am I going to find that? Well, before we do that, you need to understand something else. Okay? Zone back in, please, Jocelyn. So, if I give you a big piece of something, let's just say okay, and I have another red piece here. Okay. Question: How do I find the red piece? What's the red piece? What do I do? Well, how do I find the distance of the red? So, yeah, let's just say this is 5, and the black piece is 2. Yeah. So the red is just blue, right? Minus the what? Minus black. Minus black. Okay. Or if you can't see the color, what it's going to be is, it's going to be the total, or the large one, right? 5 minus the other one over here, right? So this is integral, this is valuable, important to this. If you can understand this basic idea, you will understand why this is true, okay? So do we agree here? I'm going to, now solving these is really easy. All you do is you just take a slice, right? Let's take a slice here. We just take a slice, and we're like, alright. So I gotta need to find the area of this slice here. Well, first, what is the big one? What is the distance from here to here? Do we agree this is f of x? From here to the top is f of x. What is the distance from here to here? See how it's g? It's hitting g, so this is g of x. And what I really want to find is the height of this object is what? It's the red thing, right? So this looks convoluted, so what am I trying to say? If you have a piece here, and you know the big piece is f of x, and the small piece here is g of x, what's the remaining piece? You take the big one, which is what? F of x, and what do you do?
Subtract by g of x.
Congratulations, that is this will give you the height of the difference between them. And that's it, okay? So now if you remember, so let's go back. So what is area? Area is what? Base times height. What is the base of this object here? No, that's the whole thing. Remember, the little tiny one we call delta x, right? Right? So, now remember, delta x was kind of like my dx, right? Okay, so if you want to write this, you can. Delta x is kind of close to dx, right? It's like a representation. So in this case, my base is going to be delta x or dx. So I'm just going to call this dx. And what is my height here? It's just f of x minus, g of x. So now, so that will give me the area of just this piece here, right? This chunk here. And then how do I find the rest of the area? That's just one of them. So what do I do? Well, I already have the area of this piece. Now what? What about, how would I find the area of this one? What about this one? Here, 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 here. So what do? We want to sum them up, so basically we're going to integrate them quickly. So remember, the sum is just, so the integral is just the sum of it. So we're going to integrate, so you find it for one piece, and then you apply the integral, then you find all of them. Every single infinite slice, okay? So we're going to be the area, this is going to be the area from A to B of the height, which is f of x minus g of x times the what?
Base.
Times the base, which is dx, and this is, oh, absolutely, my apologies. And this is here, the area between two curves. And that's it. That's all you do. The area between two curves is this. That's all you do. Okay? Marco, how am I on time?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. We got time for one example. Actually, I don't think we do. Oh, sorry. We good? Actually, we will do one example, but we'll make it a hard one. Okay? Here we go. Ready? So example 1. So let's just say we have, and we'll just throw in some classics here. Let's throw in a parabola, okay? All right, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to throw in, stupid, all right. I'm going to throw in, oh yeah, I got it, all right. And let's just say this is -5, and let's just, so this is the line y equals x minus 5. Is that cool? Yeah? Now I want you to find the area. So this is what I want you to find. I want you to find the area between 0 and 10 of this thing. Because this is 10 here, right? So we're going to have to find this thing here, right? True? Alright, so it's very simple. All we have to do is we have to find the area of the top one minus the bottom function here, right? And we got it. And we already know we're going from where? 0 to 10. Who can tell me what's the problem with this? There's a big problem here. And to see it, you'd have to like look at another example maybe, if you just had this here. Okay. If I went from 0 to 10 here. What's the problem? You see how this one, do you guys see how there's clearly a top function and there's clearly a bottom one? What's the problem here?
Keeps going.
Well, this one, it stops at 10 here, right? But like, well, is there a, can you see the top function? Yeah, you can. What's the top function? It's just x squared, right? What's the bottom function?
X minus 5.
The entire time? Ah, only to where? From here, you see? So in this case, you have to break it up into two separate ones.
Also, the second bottom function is the...
Well, yeah, because, yeah, you got it. Because look, you guys agree, this here is the top, right? And the bottom for this is where? But this bottom is a different function, right? So you have to separate this one into two integrals. So the first integral is going to be from where? So it's the integral of x squared minus what? This is 0 dx, and I'm going from where? 0 to here. How would I find what this is here?
10.
Where does this cross 0? It's at 5, right? So then this is 0 to 5. Oops. And we add that to the area from where? From 5 to 10 of the top one is what? The top one is x squared minus, what's the bottom function? Put parentheses, x minus 5 dx. And this here is as hard as they will be. Yeah.
Wait, that's all we have to do? Or?
No, you have to solve it. That's easy though, right? Christian. What do you mean? Oh, that's not what I asked you for though. No, because I wanted this area here. See? So you have to look at what area I'm asking you for. Yeah. Oh, right. So I was connecting this to what we knew in our prior knowledge, Christian. The problem is in this picture, you can't tell, it's not asking you for the negative area. It's just asking you for the stuff above the x-axis here. So we will deal with ones that involve integrating with respect to y tomorrow. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. Your homework is the following. So we're going to have a quiz on this and yesterday's work over here. The problems are numbers 1. Look, what's the top function for number 1? So it's 1 minus, what's the bottom one? Going from where? 0 to what? Yep, good. What's the top function? What's the top one? Is it?
No, 1/2.
So you do 1/2 secant squared of t minus, what's the bottom one? And then you integrate from here to here, right? That's all you do. Top minus bottom. That's it. No, you have to count that. That's on you. You have to integrate that. Second fundamental theorem. Come on. So anyways, your homework is numbers 1, 2, 3. You will skip number 4 because that is integrating with respect to y. 5, 6. And number 9 and 10. That's basically what we did right now. Number 9 and 10 are actually much harder than the rest. If you can do 9 and 10, you can do all of them. Okay? That's it. Yeah, this is in your packet. If you did not receive a packet, who was absent yesterday? Was anybody absent? Okay, see me for tutoring, okay? Alright. And that's it over here. We're about 3 minutes over, but talking about the mess didn't take 5, so that's good. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to introduce to you the Youth Truth Survey. We're going to talk about why we're taking it, okay? Now I'm going to show you a little video for this. The video is about 8 minutes long here, okay?
Hey guys, this is Carlos Santos from MTV. Now I'm sure you agree when I say schools in our country can be a source of great support, and at times it can also be a place of immense struggle for a bunch of different reasons. But I'm here to tell you that school leaders all around the country, including your teachers and administrators, are in the know. They're working hard to make your school an environment that best prepares you for the future. And guess what? They aren't the only ones on the job. Foundations like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation are working with the Center for Effective Philanthropy to figure out how they can help give you the best education possible. Just how smart are all these people? Smart enough to realize that the only way to make your experience the best it can be is to talk to you. You're here each and every day. You see what's really happening, the good and the bad. You know better than anybody how things are going and how to improve what's not working. People like Mr. Gates and the principal want. Actually, it's more like they need your feedback. So today, I want to tell you about an exciting project called Youth Truth. Your school is among hundreds of schools from around the country that will be collecting some very important information that will help everyone get a picture of how you feel about life at school. You'll get to fill out an online survey that gets into the nitty-gritty about your classes, teachers, school programs, you name it. Usually, you take a test and then your teachers give you feedback on how you did. Well, this time, it's the other way around. With Youth Truth, you'll be grading them. They actually want you to do it, so don't just take it from me. Listen to what these folks have to say about their own school participation in Youth Truth last year.
When Youth Truth came about, we knew people would continue to fit in. And I think afterwards it was very enlightening. I think it opened a lot of people's eyes. Well, maybe we can do this better. Maybe we can do that better.
I feel like Youth Truth will give us the chance to say, okay, we're having problems, we need help, and we just really need somebody to give us a solution, some type of alternative.
While we're always talking to children and not listening to them, so I think Youth Truth is a great vehicle to look at that. And it just had, for us, it just had some really powerful that.
I think we want to know what's going
we ask the kids. And I think that that's something that we've done and we're going to continue to do. And the Youth Truth survey allows us to do that.
Now, you may have taken surveys in the past and wondered, will this really make a difference? Well, Youth Truth is different. And the students who were involved last year noticed right away.
I take a lot of surveys and I have no idea what happens to the results. And I'm surprised if I see any changes, but I feel Youth Truth is really a survey that really caters to us and really, let us see what we need to work on and what are we strong at and what are we weak at.
Other surveys are just like, what do you think? And this one was like, actually, what can you do to better this situation?
And just to give you an idea of how your feedback can actually lead to change, here's a look at what happened at one school that participated in the Youth Truth survey.
The biggest thing that stuck out from our results was the experience of our ninth grade students. They weren't as satisfied as other students. They didn't have as strong relationships with adults as other students. They didn't perceive that policies and procedures were fair. They didn't perceive that the classes were challenging, so forth, across the board.
It seemed like they were just always trying to make examples out of everyone. And they never really thought about it. Dang, this is not good for that person.
So we decided to come up with the Ninth Grade Academy concept, which would support them academically, also socially.
We found there's much greater consistency across those classrooms. There's more coordination between those teachers, which I think has improved the students' experience as well.
Since the teachers that personally saw the survey, they like back-to-back work, like essays and group projects, and especially within class, there's like a lot of interaction between the teacher and the student now.
Another thing we did was institute for teen court, and in this program, we wanted to address this issue of policies and procedures being fair. And no better way to ensure that they're fair than if they're administered by their peers, all of them under the court are students. And there's a judge or an attorney that comes in to serve as a judge in the case. And so the jury can apply sanctions by the school, so they can require tutorial, restitution, letters of apology, and so forth.
At this time, I've had our teen court clerk to explain to you.
We found this way and you identify the issue in this case and render effective according to evidence and guidelines of the court.
I think the great part of this is, to a certain extent, I can say the message received, and I think they can say the message received as well in terms of the experiences that they're having now.
We have teen court, we have mentoring programs, we have programs that we can connect with the teachers.
And that captures what Youth Truth is about, is giving students a vehicle to send messages to us so that we're not operating in a vacuum or based on how we perceive students are experiencing in their time here at high school. They can tell us directly.
Now, to make this thing a true success, you've got to be honest. Don't put down what you think your teachers want to hear or what your friends think. The results will be totally anonymous, and after it's all done, you'll be hearing from your school administrators about what they learned and what you all can do to make school better.
Because, if you're doing that, people are actually going to listen to it and hear it. This is basically a chance to hear your voice.
Now I feel like we have a voice and people understand what we feel.
If a student's not happy where they're learning, then they're not going to have that can-do attitude. If you take into account what the student has to say, what they feel, and then they feel like, man, if my school cares about me, then I should be able to in return learn and go off to something better.
I'm very happy that I chose this training. I think it was a good experience, and I think I was for her, and everybody got a chance to kind of say what they want to say.
It's a good survey to take. I think every school recommendation should take it because it benefits the whole environment of school.
So get with it, people. This is your chance to speak the truth. Make it count.
You heard that, people. Okay. All right. So just to echo what so just to echo what the video said, just be honest about it. That's how we improve, just by honesty. Okay. So if you open up your little Chromebooks there, please go to the following website. It is www.highschool.whatsyourtruth.org. Yes, very original. Aaron. Okay, already there. Good. Okay. Okay, when you get there, log in and with the little slip of paper I gave you. Call me over if you're having difficulties. Just reload it. So if you guys hit refresh on your browser, if you're already there, it'll take you back to the little one. So most of you are here. If you just hit your refresh button up here, it should take you to the site that you need to be. Okay? And then the little sort of paper is your login. It's for your anonymity. Yep. You start. When you finish, start your homework.